Bonjour, y'all. But if you can let me know if you can hear me, that would be appreciated. Let's see, this is that much clearer. Let's see. How to Jack, Jean-Marc, Denise, hello, someday. Bonsoir, Medusa. Oh, Kathy, hello, Statesboro. Let's see, Diane Marie, bonjour. Josephine, Lynn Marie, Alex, bonsoir. Oh, and Sue, hello, everybody. Let me just make sure. Okay. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. See if I can get this kind of position so I don't look so weird and still get frizz. Cat tree in the back. We can't miss that. But phew. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm on top chat. Let me change that. Well, hope everyone's doing well. Thanks so much for joining in. Hello, Edie. Nice to see you. Oh, Jean-Marc. Oh, okay, good. So I had seen you said you'd hit a wild boar, 90 kilometers. That's a hit. That's a hit. I'm glad you're doing all right. Ty, hello, bonsoir. Bernadette, bonjour, bonsoir. All right. Well, I tried to turn the lights up in here. I'm in a guest bedroom for my office, so it's not a lot of lighting options. I may have to see about at some point getting a couple of those lights that you can put off to the side with diffusers on them type thing. So maybe a little brighter in here. It seems like it's a little brighter, but it doesn't seem like it's maybe less grainy. But let's see, Jean-Marc saying he's still getting all the pig jokes. Well, I'm just glad you're doing all right. But just sorry, I'm sure your car's not doing all that great either. Oh, and Kristen, hello. Thank you for joining. And I liked your video you had about the French healthcare not being free. Let's see. Oh, thank you, OH Slim. All right, appreciate that. Yeah, I just for some reason, and it's an older laptop, so it just might not be a great webcam that's on it. But but in any case, one of these days I'll be able to hook up something else other than this webcam and be able to get HD video on them. So they're not all just going to be SD videos when they post it on the YouTubes. The Be Still Kid, bonsoir, Western Ireland. That's right. Hopefully the weather's doing all right up there. Let's see here. Oh, Jean-Marc, good. You had the full comprehensive. Good. Was it a rental car or was it your own car? I guess either way. You know, that's still not great to have it happen, but at least if it was a rental car, it's somebody else's issue. Let's see. Energy Donk. Hi, Jeff. Wishing you well from Norfolk, Virginia. Oh, hello. Let's see. Kristen, I feel like I need to do a video on stuff I'm deep diving into. Excuse me. I don't know why this happens when I start the videos here. The comments on the video are fab. Many are from French people. Okay, cool. Oh, that's great. All right. Let's see here. Well, I guess we're up to 52 people. If you can remember, if you get an opportunity, please hit the like button. That'd be great. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of, as a part of the topic today, if we don't have a lot of questions coming in, some videos that I've been seeing more of from folks, and I'm very glad that if anybody hasn't had a chance to see, which I'm sure you have, but and Larry from Dijon, hello, bonjour, bonsoir. Robin, hello from New York City. Oh, Jean-Marc, sorry to hear it was your own car. But still glad you're doing better, or at least you weren't additionally damaged from that. So, um, but in any case, like there was a video that came out from Rob and Lisa at I think it's Escape to France, Charente. Super nice couple, seemed like a very nice couple. But they posted a video a couple of days ago about losing their healthcare. Their carte vitale's expired, and I'm just very thankful that he posted that. And horrible that they're going through the process of having to get all that reset up, or kind of get it corrected and all, because I would have had no idea that there was any sort of an expiration with the cart. And so in any case, as it turns out, doing a little bit more research into it, it's a mise à jour, which you have to do once a year, I guess. And if you don't change anything, and you can do it at any pharmacy, or you can go to your local CPAM office, but if you don't change anything, it's a very quick process. So if you haven't like moved, changed your name, those types of things, you just go into, like I just did it yesterday at my pharmacy, and it took like 15 seconds. They just put the card in the machine, do something about an update, and apparently that takes care of it for the year. And it suggested that you pick a date like your anniversary, your birthday, January 1st, whatever it is, that to help you remember that, okay, I've got to go get my mise à jour done at the pharmacy. So, and that keeps your card active. And you have to do it once a year for that. Now, if you have any significant change, like an address change or something like that, you'll need to notify the CPAM office about it. I don't know that you can update that online yet, but they're working on getting the cards more digitized. So, but right now, I suppose nothing can really be updated online for that. So you'd have to go to your CPAM office, but just check on that sort of thing. But in any case, I was very thankful that they posted about that, because otherwise I've not heard one person say anything about the carte vitales requiring a mise à jour to once a year to make sure you keep things updated and keep your healthcare coverage. So let's see. Oh, nope, let me make sure I'm not missing somebody. Oh, Janet, hello from hot and humid New York City. Good grief, how hot is it there? We finally got a break in the temperatures here, so now it's finally around 70, and somewhere in the mid 50s at night. So that's been nice. Let's see, Jean-Marc, I got a replacement car while they fix my. Okay, cool. That's good. That's good. And Kristen mentioned that I saw that. I think another reason why we will probably keep our private at least for a while. Yeah, there's and I don't know that I would have gotten a refund on my healthcare coverage. I didn't bother to ask. It was pretty close to maybe 9 months by the time I got my carte vitale, and it didn't take that long. It's just I took an extra 6 months to even start the process, because I wanted to make sure I was in this place that I'm in now before starting that process. I didn't want to start it from the apartment because I knew I was going to be leaving there. So let's see. Bernadette, hello. It's still really warm here in was it San Diego or South Dakota? I don't remember which one the SD is for, but we got Miss Freya. There you go. Hey, Miss Freya. Everybody wants to see you. But in any case, let's see. Kristen says, I feel for Rob and Lisa having to reapply and stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen a follow-up video about that yet. But I'm assuming they probably do have to do some sort of reapplying for it. So that's just awful, awful, awful. Jean-Marc, you have to then update your account with your cart. See, is on your CPAM account. Well, if there's any change to your information on your carte de séjour, I just went into the pharmacy, and this mise à jour that they do, as long as you don't have any updates like your address, it seemed like it was perfectly fine for that. I'll check with this, if I get around the CPAM office, I'll check with them to see if there is something I have to do, but it just seemed like it was just done at the pharmacy, and that was it. Patricia, hello. Janet, it's 82 and humid. Oh, good grief. That is still hot for that time of year. Let's see. Jean-Marc's going to keep his private health insurance anyway, regardless. Yeah, always a choice. The health insurance that I had, even though it was not cheap, was still far less expensive than what I was paying for that health insurance in the U.S. So, Bernadette, South Dakota. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, from Miss Freya. Yeah, she's found her friandises. Friandises, is that her treats? But I'm sure someone can correct me on that. But I know they tell me what the words are, but I didn't write it down in front of me here. So let's see. Alex, asking Jean-Marc a question. Okay, housing situation in Bordeaux, looking for an apartment. Is there something else other than Seloger and Le Bocoin? Let's see. Lynn Marie, Freya is well trained. She knows exactly where we're going to be visiting. Yeah, she. That's the nice thing about cats. I don't know if any of you have cats that eat like dogs, but it's nice that I can just put a bunch of treats or food out and she'll just eat what she needs to eat and she walks away from it. So let's see, Bernadette, the insurance is definitely confusing me. Yeah, it's simple to use, but I had no idea about that. And like I said, I'm going to send a message to Rob and Lisa and just thank them for putting that out, because that's something I just had no idea that you had to do. Let's see. Shay Davis, expat parents in Paris. Hello from Joinville-le-Pont, Paris suburbs. Brendan. Hello, Brendan. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Oh, well, when Bernadette, when Miss Freya comes back in here, I'll let her know that Miss Winnie says hi. Elizabeth Ann, hello, bonjour, bonsoir. Okay. Well, and like I said, the topic of this video is with the live stream was to talk about the things to look out for when deciding which visa type you're going to apply for and come in with or to change to. Because there's a couple of other videos that I've seen now too of people that have had issues with renewals. And then there was an article that was coming out. And again, I don't know how widespread the issue is, or if it's something that's been a problem for a number of years, and now they're just finally getting some articles that are coming out about it. But there's a British couple. There's an article about that they have a business. They have a small business in some rural communities. I think it's in the Charente. And in any case, they apparently received a notice for a 30-day. Kind of a trying to phrase it nicely, but it's essentially 30-day notice of you'll have to leave the country, type thing, because their business didn't make enough money to meet the minimum requirements for the visa. And I think they had like a micro enterprise or some sort of not solo, but some sort of small business enterprise, maybe a profession liberale for their little farmette. And but it's just they didn't factor in, and you don't necessarily know these things, obviously, but like the amount of time it takes to get through the red tape and, to get things established and start, being able to run your business and, get livestock and all those types of things. And so their income fell below the threshold. And so now apparently they've hired an attorney to appeal the decision. And, but of course that's additional expense in going through all that. So it's one of those things where, when you apply, you really need to be mindful of what you put in for what your projected incomes are going to be. And now with everybody going into their kind of crisis mode with immigration, whether it's in the EU or the US or things like that, it seems like people must be clamping down. The government seems to be clamping down more and more on that. So it's I just want to make people aware that, it's important when you're filling things, because I know from an American perspective, when you're doing a business plan and you're trying to sell it to somebody that, there's potential investors, and that, you might bump the numbers up a little bit just because it's like, you want to make it sound like, okay, this is something that's really going to be, a big thing. And of course, if companies investors do their due diligence, they may have questions about that. And, whatever, but it's it's a government authority that's reviewing the business plans, and to see if it's going to be a benefit to the region. And that's the other thing with France, is that things are very regional. So whereas like this British couple, they've got notes from the local mayor, the community, all that they just absolutely love these folks. But the decision came back that they were going to have their visas revoked, and they were given 30 days notice to be able to leave the country. Well, of course, they have a farmette, they've got investments here. It's not like just, okay, I'm going to pack my suitcase and head back. So just a huge headache to go through. So just want to make sure people are aware that if you are looking to move here, and probably it's any other country as well, if you like with the retirement, with the long stay visitor visa, which I'm currently on, you can't have any French income, you can't have any French clients. It's just it's a gray area, although they say it's becoming less gray, because I'm sure there's a number of people who are like doing kind of a digital nomad-ish sort of thing, where they don't have a real digital nomad visa here, but people tend to come in on a long stay visitor visa and apparently do like digital nomad work. And but that's that maybe that's going to start getting clamped down on too. So it's just a matter of, I just want to make sure people are aware that in the whole gamut of things going on, it's like I'm planning on doing putting together this business plan, and be submitting that to the authorities in January. And I just have to be very mindful of what I put down for projected revenues. That one, it at least has to meet, one, I'll use this hand. One, it has to at least meet the French minimum income requirements, which I think is maybe 1,800 euros a month, something like that. And then two, you have to meet those objectives. So if you don't, I think they give you probably some grace on the first year, but that might go away as well. And it's just something to keep track of. That's all I want to do, is just let people know that do your due diligence, check with the like local authorities, or those folks when you're setting these things up, that it's not just a matter of, well, here's my business plan, and well, if I make money, I don't make money, it doesn't matter. Because like with me, I've got Social Security income, so theoretically there's no issue with with me having business income, because I don't need it to live. But when you're on that sort of a visa, they don't care about your passive income or your other income sources, or your assets that you have, any sort of savings, things like that. They care about what the business is doing. And so if your business is not doing what it needs to be doing and generating enough income for you to have a base income of what the kind of the base salary is for people here in France, then, and meet the requirements of the visa, you can lose your visa. So it doesn't matter if you have a house, doesn't matter if you've got a community, doesn't matter if you have any of this other stuff, you can, that'll just cause additional headaches. So let's see, I'm sorry, I don't want to, let me see, go back here and make sure that I'm not missing some of these questions. The French Village Stonehouse Diaries. Hi, Jeff. Yes, I was surprised at Rob's video. Another thing to add to the list and update at the pharmacy each year. Yeah, and it was a simple thing to do. I went in and I asked them about the mise à jour, and they knew exactly what it was. They took my card, put it in the machine. Like I said, 15 seconds later, it's all done. And they said they could do it once or twice a year, which I don't know why I would have them do it twice a year, but might be some other reason for it. Elizabeth Ann, there's something called a Schengen visa. Well, it's any visa you have from a European country that you go into that's part of the Schengen zone. So, like if you have a long stay visitor visa here in France, or an entrepreneur visa, or when it was some sort of long stay visa here, you can travel around the Schengen area with that, and that gets you access to the other countries that are in that zone. So, which is probably most of the EU, things like that. So, so that's what the Schengen visa is. It's not an actual separate visa. It's the visa you have from the country that you're doing your longest stay in, type thing. Hopefully that helps you with that. Jean Marc, it's not easy to change your visa to a different visa type. Yeah, there's a challenge to it. So I'm going to try to do it on my own with the prefecture here in Perpignan. And just in January, I'm going to make an appointment and go in and talk to them about it and see what all needs to be done. They made it sound like when I went in before to ask about it, was that I had to take the business plan into them, and I'm assuming they send it off to somebody for a review. And then once that comes back, then I'll get the answer as to whether or not they're going to allow me to switch my visa over. But I have heard and saw videos of people that say it can take months and months and months and months and months. And they suggested you, as a solution to that, is to fly back to the U.S., apply for the visa that you want, so submit the business plan and all that type of stuff. And they said that tends to be much quicker than doing this changeover for the visa type. But I don't want to go to that expense. I don't want to, have to go back to the U.S., get a rental car, food, flights, all that hoo-ha to do that, and then wait, a few weeks or whatever it is for the response to come back, and versus just doing it from here. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then I can keep with my visa type that I have now and try something else. And maybe at some point I do fly back to the U.S., and that's kind of my plan B then. But it wouldn't be my first plan. So let's see. Oh, Leah, bonjour, bonsoir. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Jean Marc, 2026 is the year of change for visas and renewals. Yeah, we'll see what happens. My renewal was pretty straightforward when I did it for this year. We'll see what happens next year. Let's see. Larry, thank you, Jeff, for mentioning pharmacies may honor scripts from other countries. We used our Panama prescriptions to refill our meds here in Dijon. Yeah, and it's probably just up to the pharmacy, whether or not they're independently owned. So, whether they'll take it. I think that the pharmacy that was across the street from my apartment here didn't take an American prescription. So that's when I went on to Doctolib and found a GP that would do a video conference, and I did a video conference with her. She translated my visa or my prescriptions over into a French prescription, and which fortunately I think all of my meds were available in France, and so it was pretty easy. She could only do it for a 30-day period. So in that but that gave me 30 days then to actually connect with a GP here in the area and be able to get the prescriptions written out from them to extend, I think they extended it for like 6 months. You can still only get 30-day supplies, but at least I can do it for 6 months. So let's see here. Oops. These things are so sensitive about, well, here, maybe if I grab the little thing on the side. Let's see. Jean Marc, just play it safe, long stay visa, but you can work from home on that visa as long as it's for a company in your own home country. The thing is, Jean Marc, is they seem to be, that's always been a gray area, apparently, that it's like as long as it's not a French income and all that sort of thing. But the business I want to do isn't something where I want to work remotely for a company. So it's something I want to have here, so we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. So Janet, Jeff, will you then have to change your visa? Yes. And that's what I'm planning on doing next year. So I think you can start doing the process 4 months out from when your visa, there might be two, I think it's 4 months out from when your visa is to be renewed. So since mine gets renewed at the end of April, I'll just, start the process in January. And that's the other thing too, is if you go to change your visa status, it has to be during your renewal. You can't just like today, I want to just go ahead and submit the business plan and start the process and all that sort of thing. It's like it's all time based on when your renewal is. That's the benefit of flying back to the U.S. is that you can just fly back to the U.S., submit an application for a new visa type, submit all the paperwork you have to submit, and then wait for the response to come back. So that's why it tends to be so much quicker, is that you can just go back and do that and then wait for the visa to come through. Probably have to explain that you currently have a visa, because I'm sure when they go to look it up, your Social Security number and all that's going to be already in their system. So But let's see. Lisa, hello, Lisa. Sorry I'm late. I'll stay on and then I'll rewatch from the beginning afterwards. Oh, Lisa, that was nice of you to come in. Thank you so much. Let's see. So we're 42 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 50 likes. That would be awesome. John Mark, 22.5 euros now minimum euros income. Okay. So, but that's what you have to factor in when you're looking to do any sort of non kind of retirement sort of visa, is that's the minimum income that you're going to have to at least show for it. So, oops. Let's see, according to Patricia, so I'm assuming you say Patricia Brooks, she wasn't quite up to their level after her first year on her business, but they took into account that she had raised her income to close to the minimum. So they renewed her. Yeah, and it's probably, as with everything else here, specific to your region or your prefecture as to whether or not they're going to do that. So some probably maybe play a little bit more hardball, others maybe a little bit more lenient. So, if you're showing that you're doing it and you're working on it and it's increasing and all that, they may take some leniency in it, but I wouldn't. Now it seems like they're starting to clamp down on immigration. So that might be another way that they're trying to get people to weed them out, sort of thing. So, but yeah, no, I remember when I talked to Patricia, she said her first year was close, but it wasn't quite. But it might be that she just had a really cool group of people she worked with there, and they were fine with it. Let's see. Bernadette, looking forward to moving and meeting so many of you. Yeah, that's certainly getting a pretty good sized community with the connections of all the YouTubers here and the people that are planning on coming. That hopefully we are able to get something put together where people can meet up. And oh, by the way, in case you haven't seen my post, the meetup that Patricia and I were going to have this next week on Thursday, October 2nd, we're postponing that. There's supposed to be another general strike here that's planned for October 2nd. That's supposed to target again the transport. So, and we didn't have a lot of RSVPs, so it was like at that point we're like, you know what, let's just postpone it and just see if we can get kind of past the strike season and maybe hit a better time for when people might be more available to come join us. So. So in any case, thank you to those who have responded, and we sent out emails to people saying about the postponement. But I just want to let people know that we are going to postpone it and maybe do it early. It might be more toward the holidays, since we may have more people come through for the Christmas season, or maybe around Thanksgiving, or we might do it sometime in the spring. We'll see. Maybe we can catch more people who are coming through just to check out the areas. Let's see. Yeah, Jean-Marc, you're welcome for a meet when you get here. Awesome. Yeah, we'll try to. Like I said, I'll probably start doing some more traveling around myself next year. So that's my goal. I'll do at least another trip or two to Lyon because I do want to really check that out some more. But we'll kind of see how it goes too, and it kind of also depends on how things go with the. Business plan submission and all that hoo-ha. Since I haven't done that yet, we'll see what's all involved with it. Let's see, Ted, do you think your YouTube income will rise to the 22,000 minimum for the business visa? Yeah, it's a different business idea. I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice to think that the YouTube stuff would pick up, but I can't. It's just so small right now that I can't imagine it's going to suddenly blossom up to something that would keep me here on a long stay visa, sort of thing. So would like to be pleasantly surprised, but right now the way it's going, I mean, it's really, really a tiny amount. It doesn't even really cover my utility bill. So, that's but it's the way it is. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking to folks. I've made a lot of connections with people and I've really enjoyed that. So it's been totally worthwhile to me. It's just that as a, kind of a long-term thing, it's like, maybe not for, at least for income. So. Let's see. Let's see. Oh gosh, I'm trying to scroll up so I'm not getting. I don't want to miss anybody here. Carlene, hello. Bonjour, bonsoir. Let's see. Jean-Marc, I got an email notification to renew my visa while in France. Yeah, the renewals were like when I did my renewal this year, it was here in France online, so it's pretty simple to do for the long stay visitor visa. Now, for the other types of visas, I don't know. I'm sure there's some more intricacy involved with that, but that I can only speak to the long-term visa one. Let's see. Bernadette, I'd love to have my own business in France as well. So definitely looking at the profession libérale. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm looking at too. Just we'll see. John Mark, I was in my local Marie office. That's what the official told me. It's going up every year. It just depends on your prefecture. Yeah, I'm sure they bump it. It's something to do with whatever the government comes out with. So. John Mark, December might be a good idea. Yeah, you never know. People also like to tend to go around looking at going to the various Christmas markets. So we'll see. Let's see, Elizabeth Ann. I used to work as a proofreader, copy editor. I don't think that this would still be a valid, viable career in France. Yep, I don't know. There might be people who are looking for that sort of thing for English translation. So. I don't know why this thing just jumps around. Oh, maybe I'm getting down toward that. Oh, we got Miss Freya back. Hey, Freya. Miss Winnie says hello. Do you care about that? Do you care about that? And she walks off to the side. Okay. Let's see. Natalia, Jeff, we like your, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Kathy's asking, what do you have to do to become a permanent resident? I'd be worried about losing visas if I missed a date, and I'd want to be settled, not having to leave. I want to say it's 5 years right now. But again, they can change them as well. So it's either 5 years or 10 years. But I think it's 5. So and then you can start getting multi-year visas as well. So, and with if you decide to do some sort of a business, they seem to have options for multi-year visa renewals for those too. So it just seems like the long stay visitor visa is kind of like the retirement visa. It's one that's more like those are the ones that you renew yearly. So let's see. Jean-Marc says you have to renew your visitor visa every year for 5 years, and then you get a 10-year residence card. Yeah, and I know that they've got some new rules and regulations on language requirements and things like that. I think if you're over 65, they don't have the language requirement. So by the time I hit my 5th renewal, fingers crossed, we'll see if they still have the language requirement at that point. But if they do, they do. I'll do what I need to do to keep things going. So let's see. Let's see. Someday came. My understanding is most want the 10 years requires B2 level of French. Yeah, there are the language requirements for it. So, and they did bump something up to the B2 level. So they want you to be more than just short conversational. You need to be essentially integrated. Oh, here's Miss Freya again. She's just casually sitting there. Let's see. So, but yeah, I don't know that, like I said, it's just a matter of when we're getting more videos coming out of people having some of these issues. And like I know Janice in France is having to go back to the US to deal with her visa issue. And I guess some of the people, and the thing is I don't want to sound like I'm bashing folks' desire to for the work that they want to do here. But if y'all don't want to do your own visa handling and submitting paperwork, and you don't feel comfortable doing that, somebody like Patricia Brooks, and I'll put her information in the description here. But she helps people with coming up with game plans and helping you figure out what you need to do, next steps, and all that sort of thing to get things set up and rolling to get you to move and to help you with the moving process and that. But there's also a lot of companies popping up that are, and they're not all the same. I'm not trying to make this a generic statement for all of them. But if you decide to hire a company to help you with this process, really vet them clearly, as much as cleanly as possible that you can. That I know there's a couple of people who I know that had problems with the folks that were supposedly helping them and really didn't have a full understanding of what they were doing. So it caused these folks a lot of headache and extra money to have to deal with it. So, that's the thing is like and some things you have to happen, like I know with Janice, and she said in her video that, she made a mistake, that she shouldn't have gone to California when she did, because she got her notice for her immigration meeting that she missed. And then she deleted a bunch of emails, and that got rid of the serial number, or the code that you had to have in order to set up your appointment with the OFII, which is the immigration group. And she just had a hell of a time trying to get that information back and all that. So it's all in her video. But the thing is that when you first arrive and you have your first 90 days, you have to validate your visa. So I'm just talking about a long stay visitor visa, because that's the only one I know about. And it's a very easy process. You do it online. You get into a website. You provide some basic information, and or you might scan a QR code, and it's you're validated. And what that does is it puts you into the system, into the French system, and then that works its way into the immigration office. And at some point in time, and this is why you need to have a place that you can get mail, is that the French government tends to rely very heavily still on snail mail. And so, and there's no communication otherwise. There's no text message. There's no phone call. There's no anything. It's all just, hope they got it. And I hope because you get a confirmation email back saying you validated your visa. Here's your current, carte de séjour. It's just a piece of paper, and then your visa that you have in your passport. And so that's what you have for your first year. Your second year is when you get your residency card, and then that will be what your carte de séjour is and all that sort of thing going forward. But so after you validate your visa, you just wait for this mail to show up, and the mail will have from the OFII, and it will tell you the date and time of your appointment. And you can call, and they have the information there. You can call and change it if there's something that's come up that you can't make it. They do have the ability to change your time, but to your best that you can, just go at the time and the date that they give you on that thing, and you have to take the paperwork with you, and at that point you go in and they do like a very basic health check on you. So it's like your blood pressure. They'll talk to you about, and it's all in English. They have different people speaking different languages, but for those that are English speakers, it's all in English. And like my OFII office is in Montpellier, and so took the train up, took the tram to the stop that I needed to go to, walked like 10 or 15 minutes, I think it was, maybe 10 minutes to get to the office building, and it's very much like the VLS appointment where you can't show up too early. There's no point getting there an hour early. They're not going to let you in. They only let you in within like 15 minutes of your appointment, and but they take you to the area that you need to go to. And all it is you're just meeting with somebody very, very nice. They just meet you, get to take some basic blood pressure, maybe your temperature, things like that. For those coming from the US, they don't do the chest scan anymore, chest x-ray, because they're really just checking for tuberculosis. But that's currently eradicated in the US. We'll see what happens with, the current administration on that sort of thing. But in any case, and they just talk to you about how making sure that you know how to get a GP and maybe understand how Doctolib works and all that. And I already, by that point, had already had my doctor's appointments and got my blood work and all that type of stuff done. So I was very familiar with that process. And that's all it is. But you have to do it. You have to go to it and deal with it. And so if you don't, then that leads to other issues. But your renewals then happen just online. No. Now y'all getting chatty again. Let's see here. Let's see here. Clement, can I design you a free thumbnail? Well, sure. You send it to me on my email. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. John Mark's just going through some of the things for the visa renewals. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, if anybody's thinking about, and like Jean-Marc said, if anybody's actually thinking about making the move to France, probably want to do that as soon as you can, because I am sure that there is a huge interest in doing it now, and I know there's more people coming, but it's not like it's been a huge, to my knowledge, it's not been a huge wave. But I think that over time that's going to change, and we'll see what happens with what the countries here start doing for their immigration policies. So we'll see. It's all crazy. Let's see. Someday came. I'm planning on having my Spanish citizenship by the time I move mid-2026. Just waiting for approval. Been in the process for the last 18 months. Yikes. I have an attorney in Madrid assisting. Recently had my last appointment at consulate in Houston. Okay, good for you, Someday. That's great. Visto, I'm indeed fortunate to have Irish citizenship. You are indeed fortunate to have that. That just crazy. Let's see. Bernadette, click the like. Yes, please click the like button. Thank you, Bernadette, for prompting folks for that. That'd be awesome. Oh, hello. Salute, Jeff. I made it back from my hike in time to catch the end of your live. Beautiful day visiting Canada's capital and gawking at the fall leaves. Oh, that's cool. Well, appreciate that. And it's Rondi, right? I think. Really, and look, I apologize. I'm really bad with names until I've done it a few times, sort of thing. So, but no, I appreciate you joining in. So, okay, which of your emails should I use? Oh, it's the expatjeffyt@gmail.com is fine. That's it's in my bio link on my YouTube page. Let's see. Someday, exactly, but plan to learn French. Was born in Paris. I do speak Spanish fluently. Oh, cool. Oh, great. I'm glad I did. No, I got your email, and I replied to your email, and I appreciate that, Rondi. That's very cool. Let's see here. So what are we now? We're 60 likes. Maybe we can bump that up a little bit. Maybe we can try to hit 70. But let's see, what are we on now? 43 minutes. So yeah, if we've got any other questions, like I said, I'm seeing some more videos come out. I'm going to work on a video tonight and hopefully get it up tonight on the site. So I've got more videos kind of lining up now. And like I said, now that the weather's improving here, being a little bit cooler anyway, that it's going to be easier for me to get out and about and get back to doing my kind of let's go explore this and let's go check that out sort of thing here in Perpignan. And once probably January, February timeframe, I'm going to start doing some more traveling around just to maybe February, March type thing. I know I'm going to be going back to Lyon. I may do a trip over to Strasbourg to check it out. But right now I'm really just kind of focused mostly on Lyon and Dijon as a backup. So we'll see. That I know Valerie, when I talked to her, my can't really say she's not an estate agent, but the one that helped me find my rental properties here, she was going on about Toulouse. So I may look at Toulouse. I don't know that that's really my vibe. I think I'd rather be more kind of on the eastern side of the country, just for connectivity with, or maybe a little bit closer for connectivity with, if I want to go to Germany, or if I want to go to Switzerland, or if I want to go to Italy, it's just a little bit shorter of a train ride to get around. So let's see. Let's see. Someday, Jeff, did Lyon have many Americans / Brits living in the area? I'm sure they do. There's quite a few here in Perpignan, so I've got to think that Lyon's going to have even more. I haven't done um, I haven't I haven't done any research on like Facebook groups or things like that in Lyon as yet, but I probably should start doing that just to see. But I'm not planning on actually moving until later next year, so it's not like I'm looking to move in January, February. It's it'll probably be September, October, well, maybe August, September timeframe, something like that. Let's see, Jack Black, all in caps. Do you take Freya with you when you travel? No, no, no. Cats are not very well known for liking to travel about. So, and plus with like a litter box and all that litter and all that type of stuff, it's a little bit of a pain. Now, when I move, obviously, yes, I'll take her with me. But when I'm just traveling around, like going to Agen, or even if I went to Bordeaux or something like that, I'm not gonna be taking her with me. No. But let's see. Toulouse is a bit far south. Not impressed with a lot of them. Well, okay, I'm not. I'm an immigrant too, so I can't. I don't hold anything against immigrants. I just um, uh, and Perpignan certainly has a wide variety of immigrants here. And I kind of like that. I like the diversity of it. So let's see, Jean-Marc, more Americans in Nice, says it's close to the airport, direct flights back to the U.S. Yeah, I'm not, I want to get away from some of the, which again sounds weird, but I want to get away from just the constant sun. It's it's a little much. It's a little much. And of course, I'll say that, and I'll get up to Lyon or Dijon, and it's like, oh my God, I can't. I gotta go down, back down to the south of France just to visit, to get out of the dreary weather. Let's see, Bernadette. I hear Lyon doesn't have a huge expat community compared to others, but hopefully that'll change because it's a beautiful area in France. Yeah, I thought it was a really nice city, and granted, I was only there for 4 days, but certainly the metro very, very clean, seemed to be very efficient. Same with the trams. The buses were nice, getting around. So certainly seemed very easy to get around the city. Um, I would think that they would have a pretty good sized expat community, but like I said, I haven't really checked it, so that might be very true. Oh, let's see. Oh, let's see. Actually, Ronnie's saying Leon has several expat groups. One that meets every Saturday morning for coffee. I've joined a couple on Facebook. Oh, okay, cool. Well, Ronnie, I'll do that too. Then I'll join in to see what's going on. Yeah, there's an expat group here that's a small. Well, it's a small group. They're not really. It's a couple of Americans, but there's a couple of British. I think a couple of Russian, a couple of French people show up, and then a couple from Iceland in that. So it's a real mix of folks, and they're all very nice. All of them very, very nice. But yeah, I just they have that here too. So I figured they've got to be something there in Lyon. But yes, thank you, Rondi, for sharing that. Let's see, Robin. If Lyon is too expensive, I noticed there are nearby towns in or near the metro area with access to city center that may be more affordable. Yeah, and that may very well be where I end up going. I'm absolutely. I told Valerie, I said, when looking for an apartment, I'm not looking for city center. I don't need to be on the Presqu'île. I don't need to, be in Old Lyon. I don't need that. I just need a place to stay, and I prefer a quiet area. I prefer a quiet area. Of course, of course, right now it's. I'm not sure what time it is here, but it's getting late. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock at night here now. But right behind me is a daycare, and they've got a lot of kids, and so during the day it's a lot of screaming out there. So it's, of course, that's only 4 days a week. They're not there on Wednesdays, but still, it's, I'm used to having some noise back there, but I'd like to not have that noise in future places. So, but yes, you're right. That's absolutely options and that's what I liked about Leon, was that there are options for kind of ancillary areas in the metro area that do still have access either via bus or even tram kind of goes out in some of those areas. Let's see. Thanks for the Leon information, Jeff, and all. I may be the last person on earth to have never had a Facebook account. It's funny you say that. I have a Facebook account, but I haven't touched it. The only reason I still touch it now is just because of every once in a while these Facebook groups pop up. But other than that, I don't use it. So. Let's see, Jean Marc, I'm looking for a nicer area, to be honest, not the only one on the move. Yeah, no, I know. There's a lot of people looking around. Annie, hello, Annie. I've been in France just over a month now. I'm near Annecy and very close to Geneva. Flying out of Geneva is great. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I know some people have recommended Annecy, and I know Kristen, if she's still on, her and her husband had gone there to visit. They've got a couple of videos about it on their channel, obviously. And but I don't know. I really want a larger city is what I would like. So that won't be. And I'm sure Annecy is also most likely out of my price range. But I am more focused on looking for something that's going to be metro, like not necessarily metro, but at least trams or buses that run later. Let's see. And he also does not have a Facebook account. I would like to not have one. It's just the only reason I keep it is for the, right now it's just for the expat groups. Let's see, John Mark, I don't have an Instagram or do apps. We are all old school here. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, I don't, people ask me about, well, what's your Instagram and what's your this and what's your that? And it's like, I don't have that. I don't. YouTube's really my only social media that I deal with. I have what is it? A page on LinkedIn, but that really was for when I was in kind of corporate world and when I had my business there in the U.S. But I keep it. I keep that one going just because I never post anything on it, but it's because I have so many connections in the U.S. that it's like I don't want to just dump it because you never know, might be helpful at some point in time. Let's see. Kristen's asking, are there nonstop flights to Southern California from Geneva? Yeah, I would imagine there's got to be something to LA, but I don't know. And maybe Annie can help with that, but that's just something that I would go to the Geneva airport site and just see. What sites they serve, sort of thing. I would imagine all airports have that. Most of the airports in the U.S. have that sort of a flight map. So hopefully they would have something too. But I would imagine they've got to have something from, if they do fly anywhere in California, it's got to be either San Francisco or L.A. anyway. Hopefully. But you never know. They may not. But let's see. Let's just make sure I'm not skipping anybody. But no, I always appreciate everybody showing up. It's just very cool that people come in and join me on Sunday nights. Annie's saying she hasn't had any luck with that. Not for a nonstop, usually connection in London. Bernadette, recommendations for learning French. Definitely want to relearn before I move. Everybody has kind of their preferred way or better way of learning. So whether it's something visual or reading or listening to podcasts, you definitely want to get more involved with, like, they've got all kinds of podcasts now that are in French. And they suggest people, especially if you're brand new to French, even picking up some kids books, things like that, because the stories will tend to be very simple, easy to follow, and all that. So there's a lot of opportunities for however you prefer to absorb things. So if you're one that's more visual and you prefer to read, there's that route. I like to use italki, which I generally have links for that in my video descriptions. I found that to be very useful because I could talk to a native speaker, and it really helps me more with some of the colloquialisms that I don't know here. And, just trying, because when I try to translate something from English, it's not, it's kind of rare that it's, to them, I usually get people that are kind of scratching their head because it's not like, just trying to think some of the phrases that you might, it was certainly from the Southern U.S. Some of the phrases there, they're not going to be like catching a hot frog on a big rock, whatever it is, those types of things. That's not going to translate to anything that anybody else is going to know. And a lot of people in the South don't always know what that means. So I just want to learn some of the colloquialisms. And if you go to just use a translator all the time, those types of things will translate to a literal, and then people just look at you like, what's with a frog and a rock and what does that have to do with anything? So the nuance of it is all missed. So anyway, yeah. So Bernadette's saying that she's a very visual learner. So it's one of those things where, so maybe Italki wouldn't be a great thing for you because that's visual because you're on a Zoom meeting essentially with not necessarily Zoom, but the same concept with a tutor. But they have podcasts and they have all kinds of ways now to be able to access things on the internet just to learn whatever language you want to learn. But I know like with Babbel, that's usually another good tool. I hear positives and negatives about Duolingo. I did Duolingo for a little while. I didn't particularly care for it. I don't like the ones where it's like a game, and then if you break your streak, like you don't do a lesson every day, or you miss it, or it keeps track of how many days in a row you've done these lessons, and you get badges and all that. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just I want to learn at my own pace, but I'm not one that's driven by competitiveness. Like I'm trying to beat something. I don't want to do that. That's not my vibe. So I don't know. I don't know that helps you at all, but that's like I said, maybe check out Babbel or something like that. So let's see. Kristen, Jeff, I joined late. How are you handling making money on YouTube with a visa? I'm making assumptions in both cases that they apply to you. The money I make off of YouTube is so minuscule that there's no, it's not even hobby level. I'm talking like less than 100 euros a month, sort of thing. So it's not, and plus it's not technically from France. It's paid out of Google Ireland. So it's so I guess it's almost like the same thing as being a digital nomad, but it's such a tiny amount that, it's not even, I'm not even up to a level that I can get taxed on it. So let's see, Alex, Christian, there are flights from Zurich to LAX and San Francisco. Oh, Robin, got to bounce to visit. Oh, thanks for the info, Jeff, as always. A bientôt à tous. A bientôt, Robin. Thanks so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, well, Jack, that's good to know. You're walking around. Let's see. Very good. I'm on smartphones, walking around. Okay. Well, good for you. Good for you. So what are we on now? Just about an hour. We've got 90 folks in. So we don't have any other questions coming in. But let's see. The Be Still Kid, Frenchy Tales YouTube channel is a nice way to learn. It's basic enough and short stories are great. Okay, cool. I'll have to look at that too. Thank you, B. So I'll have to check that out too. I mean, mine isn't basic. Well, it's not like I'm intermediate French, but I'll have to check that out because I'm always interested in finding those things where, especially a video or something like that, it certainly helps. Let's see, Annie. Has anyone tried Rocket French? I've heard it might be a good one, but so many choices. Yeah, I've never even heard of that. I'd have to look at that too. Bernadette, from the English to French translation, head scratching. Great meme. Yeah. That Yeah, I know that there's some things that I say every once in a while here, and I want to do the translation for it, but it's like I don't know what the I don't know what the equivalent would be here in France. So I just just I'll have to ask. I usually just end up asking some of my French friends that just like, okay, if I want to say something like this, how do I say that? Oh, and Patricia, thank you. Please hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. Jean Marc is saying good channel to learn French is Adeline Talks. Okay, good. Yeah, no, that sounds like there's some, and of course we know that there's lots of options out there, but you definitely when you come here, you definitely want to have some language skill, and I know that there are people out there that, like I said in my video for it, it's just that people tend to just get wound up with, like, I have to speak it perfectly, I have to be able to communicate without flaw, and I'll just speak all this, and it's like, no, that you don't need that. People just really appreciate it. Like even at my pharmacy, they appreciate when I come in and just try to say something in French with, looking to get my, getting my prescriptions refilled, and I try to say it in French first, and and they'll speak a little bit of English, but they still appreciate it. Nobody mocks me for it, at least not while I'm there. Oh, we got Miss Freya back. Hey, Freya. You look over here? No, she's going up for her friandises. Let's see. Patricia, I've been kicked off here 4 times for an ad, which is just a black screen. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Patricia. That's disappointing. Let's see, Kristen. Thanks, Alice. I've got a 95-year-old dad that I need to get back to quickly, and I don't want to live near Paris. Only other nonstop option I've found is Barcelona, so settling near Perpignan. Yeah, Barcelona's been a great option for getting back to the U.S. It's not, you can take a bus. That's a pretty good bus to get down there from the train station here in Perpignan, or you can take a train down. It's just I find the trains tend to be a little bit more difficult with the international flight timings. So, but the buses can get you down there. Typically, I mean, they leave at butt ass early in the morning. But if you have a morning flight, which typically is the case with a international flight back to the U.S., there are buses that can get you down there for a flight. So let's see. Oahu 2000, ask ChatGPT to give you the 300 most used phrases in French and write them out on flashcards. Also get a lot of comprehensive info. Oh, okay. Well, good. Oh, and Jack's talked about the people using translation apps for here. So yeah, no, and I've actually, there was a woman at the bus stop, one of the bus stops, coming back from lunch, and she started talking to me, and I come back with the, je suis désolé, mon français n'est pas bon, blah, 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 blah. Just my French isn't very good. And, but I was trying to listen to her, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I've got my phone. So I pulled out my phone, and then she talked to the phone and did a great job. It was something about, she was here the other day, and there was an Englishman here that was going to be taking a trip back to the UK and then going off to Greece. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, good for him. I'm like, I'm not English, and but I guess it was just trying to have a conversation. That was so, but that certainly helped. I used the phone app for that. Let's see, Jean-Marc. I wore my American jacket this week. Everyone spoke English to me. Let's see, Jean-Marc. I turned around when bonjour y'all to a load of UK people pissed them off. Turned around when to a load of UK people pissed them off. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oahu, no to Duolingo. Yeah, I've heard some bad things about it. I don't, like I said, I got tired of the whole, you got to keep, whatever it was, keep the bird happy or something like that. It's like, I don't care about the bird. So let's see. So cool, Jean-Marc, and hilarious on the bonjour, y'all. That'd be something. Yeah, I try not to get too country, with folks. So I said, if I get tired, if I get a little a little PO'd about something, a little whatever type thing, then I tend to get a little bit, my drawl comes back. But I try not to do that because it's hard enough for people sometimes to understand what I'm saying in French or trying to say in French, let alone come back with, some Southern colloquialism that, bless your heart type thing. So, oh wow, who's got some great options there? Easy French avec Nelly. Oh yeah, no, I've seen the French avec Nelly. That some of those are very good with that. So, oh Susan, ciao. Hope everything's all right there in Italy. But good to see you. Leah, Jeff, we all love the bonjour, y'all. Well, I appreciate that. I know it does seem to be somewhat abrasive to people, but oh well, got to have some sort of sense of humor with this. That I don't, and I know that there was somebody, and I don't know if they're online here, that they got really like, oh, you should never say that. I try to lose my accent when I'm over there, and it's like, look, I'm not running around Perpignan saying bonjour, y'all, and all that, because I know they're not going to have 1 ounce of understanding what that means to them. So let's see. The Beasto Kid, I love the Southern drawl. Hope you're not fixing to lose your accent. Look, a lot of it's been beaten out of me from 30 years in corporate world. So it's I didn't want to seem like I was one of the Clampets when I started going to work in office buildings in Chicago. So, but some people found it to be very very charming, I guess. But I never had that sort of accent where it's like that very deep guttural like Louisiana drawl, and like the folks in Georgia that just every once in a while somebody, when I was having my house remodeled, and somebody would come, some contractor would come in and say, just ask me, he's like, Jeff, are you from Georgia? And then the lead guy that was the owner of the company that was doing the remodeling came in, he says, you can tell if somebody's from Georgia if they say Georgia, and I said I can't possibly say Georgia. That just doesn't sound right. So yeah, that's how they determined that I was not originally from Georgia. So, but let's see here. Let's see. Maya is saying somebody just made fun of Janice in France's way of saying bonjour. Oh, I've had people try to correct me on the bonjour, and that's going to take me a little while to get used to that. But there's no sense of making fun of people trying to do the right thing. If you say the word, then you say the word. Annie, I love the Clampets. Yeah, it was not necessarily the best depiction of people from the South, but it was still funny. Jean-Marc, I say bonjour, y'all, to every UK person I see. Florida's my home state. Yeah, Kathy, I've lived in Georgia all my life, worked for Atlanta Coca-Cola bottling, and they sent me to classes to lose my accent. Oh my God, really? That, though, like I said, I just, people would start going on. It really, I guess the thing from my experience with that was that people tended to want to just talk to me like they were the Clampets and just start going on about the cement pond and, do you have a cement pond in your house? And do you have it's like, okay, but I'm country, but I'm not backwoods country. I'm not that bad. Let's see. Annie, I grew up in Chicago area. Oh, cool. Where Annie? That I lived in Wheaton for a number of years, but I also lived downtown for a number of years, down in the Gold Coast area. Let's see. Bernadette, yeah, being from Southern Louisiana, I used to have that long draw, but it's just like, yeah, no, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But get some of that Creole going. Let's see, Jean-Marc, my accent, I'm assuming it's accent, is so mixed up. It's a mix of UK and US. I've been told I sound too posh. Ah, okay, well, cool for you. Yeah, when I did like a 2 week trip in England a number of years ago type thing. Uh, Not one person thought that I was from the UK. I get when here in Perpignan, when people do try to speak English to me, and sometimes they want to speak English to me just because they're trying to learn English, and but they will always, I mean, every time um, get when they want to, they're like, "Are you from the UK? Are you from the United Kingdom?" And it's like, if you talk to a lot of people from the United Kingdom, because I'm going to say that you probably have not. It's like I do not sound like anybody from the United Kingdom. So in any case, then they're surprised when they find out I'm from the U.S. But it's like, you got some funny sounding Brits down here. Let's see, South Suburb. Oh, Evergreen Park. Okay, cool, cool. Leah is also from Southern Louisiana. Lost most of her accent when living in other states. I was made fun of in California. Yeah, I bet. I think California is probably one of the places that, and Washington State was another one for me where I got quite a bit of ribbing about the accent. So let's see. Jack's originally let's see, born into a Swedish family of immigrants to USA, first language Swedish. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. To me, those are some tough languages. Swedish, Finnish, Norwegian. That's some tough. And maybe it's just because I'm just not used to it. But let's see. Oh, Creole Cajun food. Yes, yes, yes. There are too many people from the north of UK here in France. I'm too posh for. Oh, so you got more of the southern UK accent that going on there, Jean Marc. Okay, yeah, because I have heard people that were from northern England that if they start hearing anybody with a southern accent, and I think it's kind of the same way from the U.S. It's typically people in the north of the U.S., north of the Mason-Dixon, tend to make people with a southern accent from obviously below the southern or below the Mason-Dixon. Same thing with the UK. I don't know where their Mason-Dixon line is, but definitely people from the north tend to make fun of the people from the south, and I'm sure the people from kind of vice versa. Let's see. Lynn Marie, Lufthansa runs a shuttle bus from Strasbourg to Schiphol Airport, and you're not required to be taking a lift. Tons of flight to use the shuttle. Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool to know. That's cool to know, Lynn Marie. Let's see. Oh, Susan, when we moved from California to Oklahoma for a year, the ribbing I took from my, I bet. Yeah. Southern folks also tend not to be too terribly fond of the probably just kind of generally call them just Yankees, but yeah, that's and California definitely has a different accent to it as well. Let's see, Bernadette. My experience was the opposite. All the high school kids in Colorado, where my family had moved, wanted me to talk, and it didn't matter what I said; they just wanted to hear me talk. Yeah, yeah. I think when I worked for Alaska Airlines in Seattle, um, I just moved there from Georgia, and so I was kind of recharging my drawl. And by the time I got to Seattle, it was it was it was pretty good. It was pretty pretty strong. wasn't quite Georgia, but it was getting it was back to my Oklahoman kind of North Texan sort of accent, and and it just depends on where you're from. I mean, it doesn't matter what state it is, but kind of the area. And I did get people that would come up and just say, hey Jeff, I'd like to have you give a presentation on blah 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 and do this sort of thing. I'm like, well, I don't have to give a presentation on it. I can just tell you all what we need to do and just kind of go over it. It's like, no. We want this. So I'm sure, let's put Jeff on display. It's got this little freak show from the South coming in. So But anyway, they're all super nice people. I mean, it was all in fun. Let's see. John Mark saying the film is called Star is Born with Lady Gaga, now shown on TV F1 France. Oh, so that's in French for that show? Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Diane Marie. Too many Americans trying to recreate their life from the States and France. Leave it behind. Nobody cares where you come from in America. We're all just Americans there. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, you're right. You know, and people should just, because I've you know, and it's been very kind. People asking about, you know, they're coming over here to visit, that they might, you know, like what, you know, they ask me if there's some things I want to have brought over, you know, something be brought in. And I know people get things delivered and all that sort of thing for you know, whatever it is that you're missing, you know, sort of thing. But I really don't miss anything, and it's like I'd rather just get used to what I have here, and not, you know, not be stuck on, oh, I have to have this particular brand of this sort of thing. And so yeah, so part of the thing for moving, especially somewhere to a different country, is, you know, just plan on leaving all that stuff behind, like she says, and just move on. Let's see. When I go to so Jean-Marc, when I go to the U.S., they think I'm Australian. Yeah. People in the U.S. just aren't particularly bright on accents, you know, where people are coming from. Oh, Patricia, bonsoir. Enjoy. Okay. Oh, Strasbourg to the Zurich airport. You don't have to be taking a Lufthansa flight to use it. Oh, okay, Lynn Marie. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Jean-Marc, is we watch French TV here in France because we didn't want to pay satellite TV. Well, that's a good plan. Good way to learn more French too. So, all right, guys. Well, it looks like, oh my gosh. Okay, whenever I blathered on long enough, we're up to an hour and 15 minutes. I appreciate everybody that showed up. You know, had a little bit of a chat. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you all have a great week. And we'll just catch you. Oh, and let's see. Susan's got something. So true, Jeff. Some Americans where I live in Italy still order from Amazon US and pay super high prices for American goods. I do not get it. I don't get it. I don't know why something is that important to you that you're gonna go spend all that kind of crazy money for it. So, Canned Angel, yes, you're right about planning to go to France. Move on, no fear or in spite of fear. Exactly. Just let her go. I don't need to have C's candies. I don't need to have all this other stuff. It's like there's plenty of stuff here to choose. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody. We'll wish you all a good night, great week, and hope to catch you next Sunday. Au revoir.